How's it going, team? Now I'm going to level with you. I like training a lot. I love lifting weights in a functional way. I love strongman style work. I love maximal power output training. And I love that all of these things help me build muscle and a physique that I'm proud of and that I enjoy. But I do like being functional, having a good engine or at least a baseline of conditioning that allows me to feel fit and healthy as well as just big and strong. But is there a way that I can build an athletic engine, bringing with it all of the benefits of getting lean and sculpted, but without losing the muscle that we've been told we'll lose if we do conventional cardio? Quick answer to that question, yes, but quick caveat, if you do it in the right way. And as you guys have probably deduced, that is exactly what we're going to cover now. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Jim Galvin, and on this channel, we cover all things training, nutrition, biohacking, and ancestral living to help guys just like you cut through all of the fluff of the fitness industry in the modern age and work out what it is that you need to do based on your individual biology to improve your performance, your health, and your physique. And today, I want to walk you through some science-backed stuff and my own anecdotal experience of how you can indeed incorporate certain conditioning modalities into your training without losing a single gram of muscle. So let's get cracking, shall we? So it's 2021. We've got CrossFit, bodybuilding, and all realms of athletic persuasion kind of merging into one massive melting pot of all things training, nutrition, lifestyle, recovery, muscle building, blah, blah, blah. There have been a hell of a lot of changes in fitness culture over the last 10 years. One of them is the fact that being only big and strong is now probably considered nowhere near as desirable as being big and strong, but also fit and athletic and actually able to move and be functional. There's a lot of debate, as there is in everything in the fitness industry, as to what is the best method to be able to do this. Having looked into it and having experienced a lot of different strategies myself over the last 10 to 15 years, I'm excited to share my findings on this specific topic with you guys today. So let me first tell you why I might be quite a good, credible source for this particular conversation. When I was younger, when I was a teenage boy, I was obsessed with training. Pretty common, right? Like a lot of teenage guys are. Absolutely obsessed. But at the age of 20, in addition to my love of fitness, I decided to pursue another lifelong ambition, and that was to become a British Royal Marines Commando. An incredible achievement if I could get it, but one that requires an unbelievable amount of cardio and conditioning. So for the first time, I was met with this exact objective, which was to improve my cardio, improve my conditioning, to get leaner, but also to make sure that I lost as little muscle as possible in this process. And you'll be happy to know I failed pretty spectacularly, to be honest. I mean, the odds truly were against me in a military training environment where Royal Marine Commando recruits can eat up to 5,000 calories a day and actually lose weight during this 9-month process. However, once I passed Royal Marine training, things did get a little bit easier. I was in a lot more control over my own training and my nutrition, and I started lifting properly again for the first time since before I started military training. But this was short-lived because I ended up deploying to Iraq in like 5.5 months, in less than 6 months after passing out as a Royal Marine. Upon return from Iraq the following year, it was straight into PDT, pre-deployment training for Afghanistan, then 7 months in Afghanistan. But then early 2012 rocks round, right? With no more tours of duty on the horizon, I can finally sink my teeth into a slightly more controlled environment and lifestyle where I can train properly and eat properly the way that I want to. Training, nutrition, hydration, sleep, and recovery were now absolutely imperative variables that I was in a little bit more control of than I had been for the past kind of 3 or 4 years. But here's the crazy thing, right? In addition to wanting to pack on a little bit of muscle and improve my physique again, I also started sprinting for the first time in a few years, which was my chosen sport back when I was a teenager. I did this for the Royal Marine team and the UK military team, and this is also the year 2012 that I started doing bobsleigh, a sport where you are basically required to be a heavier than normal sprinter. I mean, this is the sport where you have guys that are 105 kilos, that's 231 pounds for our lovely American friends, running 100 meters in 10.3. I mean, I never really got anywhere close to that weight all that 100-meter time. But you get the picture, right? I mean, that is flipping functional power right there. So anyway, I'm there trying to lift both for performance benefits and also for vanity, which is okay, by the way, guys. This channel is a judgment-free zone. And also to just get a little bit bigger for bobsleigh. But in addition to this lifting, I also started to introduce an incredible amount of sprinting into my weekly training routine. And the funny thing is this, the fat starts falling off me, right? Fat, but not muscle. Now, I'm not telling you that this massive big secret to maintaining muscle and losing fat necessitates you rocking up at your local athletics track and cracking out a few sprint reps. Although that would definitely work, I'm just saying there is something in this program that luckily, if you manipulate it in the right way and extract the right things from it, are available to everyone. So here's the real stuff, right? Basically, the execution of speed has this magic quality where it's both anabolic, which basically means it helps you build muscle, and metabolic, where it helps you burn fat. Compare this to running a 10K on the road or the hills or something like that. And this is also metabolic, burning fat again, but it's not anabolic. It's actually what's called catabolic, which means it can be burning muscle instead of maintaining it or even putting it on. These are the muscle losses that we hear so much about when it comes to conventional cardio. But luckily, cardio or conditioning comes in different forms, and they do not all steal our gains and our hard work from the weights room. So how do we implement this kind of stuff into our routine? How much intensity is the right amount? What's the correct work to rest ratios? What am I actually doing on what piece of equipment? Inside or outside? How long for? And how often? Guys, chill. I got you. Step one for this, which is all I'm going to go through today, would be what's called the sprint bolt-on. This is the term famous in the industry. That's actually pretty unlikely because I made it up about 3 minutes ago, which is the bolting on of a sprint conditioning piece onto the end of your weight session. Luckily, it doesn't have to actually be as much as you might think, which is why I'm going to give you 3 different examples now. Number 1, you could use an assault bike, now expanding and transcending that of just CrossFit gyms, and these things are starting to become a lot more commonplace even in budget or high street gyms. But if your gym or your home gym doesn't have one, then you can always use something like a rowing machine. And one possible setup for this bolt-on is sprinting flat out. And guys, I'm going to say this, the functional fitness world and the body world have very, very different interpretations of the term flat out to someone like a sprinter, right? Seriously, by flat out, I mean an intensity level that most people probably aren't really familiar with, which is fine unless they are regularly competing in a sub 15-second sport. Flat out for 20 seconds, have a 40-second break, and repeat this for about 6 to 8 rounds. This might not sound like much and you might feel as though you can do more, but if you are doing more, you're increasing the volume and decreasing the intensity. I am telling you now, boys and girls of flipping YouTube, if you do this right and execute this drill in the right way, between 6 and 8 rounds, you'll go into it thinking that's not much, you'll be flipping praying for death by the end of round 2. Option number 2, get yourself sitting on a rowing machine and changing the intensity slightly here. We're going to take it up to about 30 seconds on, 90 seconds off. Again, if you're doing this right, this recovery will not necessarily feel like it is anywhere near enough time. We are accelerating from the very first pull and going full send for that 30-second period. And the final option, option 3, could actually be to leave the gym floor or your home garage gym or wherever it is that you train regularly, get yourself out onto the road and start to do some hill sprints. Running at a certain incline uphill is just a little bit easier on the joints, and it actually works your hips, your knees and your ankle at a better range than say running on a road flat. A little bit more quad dominant, which means it's a little bit safer on your hamstrings and stuff. Overall, if you're not used to running mechanics work and proper sprint work, this is probably a better introduction than running flat. 100 meters up a hill as quick as you can, super slow jog or even walk back down and go again. Between 5 and 8 rounds for this is enough at the end of your weight session. Just like with the row and the assault bike, guys, acceleration is key. You do not want to take those first 6, 7, 10 strides as a little bit of a rolling start into it. Try and accelerate and get up to top speed, running up the hill as quick as you can. These kind of work to rest ratios are super metabolic, meaning you are burning a hell of a lot of fat, but they are offering just enough of a rest so at the beginning of each new rep you can properly attack it. And in terms of frequency, how often you should be doing this, if you're not currently doing any conditioning work right now, maybe bolting these kind of sprint modalities and components onto the end of your weight session twice a week is probably a good introduction, I think, just to give your body a little bit of time to get used to that kind of work and get used to that adaptation and allow that adaptation to take hold. But then after the first month, or if you're currently doing fairly regular conditioning, playing an invasion game sport, etc., straight off the bat by doing that 3 times a week. This is definitely enough to elicit a decent amount of change in cardio and speed performance. Second benefit is it will allow you to keep the muscle that you've worked so flipping hard for, and actually probably show that muscle off even more than ever before by the fact that you are now so bloody lean and shredded from this sprint work. It really is a win-win-win. You're improving your performance in your conditioning, you're keeping your muscle, and you're leaner than ever. So in terms of how you can program your cardio conditioning work, build an engine, but also keep the muscle that you've worked so hard for in the weights room, that is done. If you did enjoy today's video and you did get some value from it, please do hit that like button. It really does help grow the channel. And remember, the appropriate inclusion of speed work into our program really is the missing link between keeping us big and strong, but also building an engine and getting us shredded. This is the component that so many people underutilize and don't take advantage of. Anything under 40 seconds maximum output, short rest and repeat, that is the key. Trust me, it will pay dividends to your conditioning and your body composition. And bolting this stuff onto the end of a weight session means it doesn't need its own session in the week and therefore isn't going to disrupt your regular training that much. I have 2 more favors to ask for you beautiful people. Number 1, if you did get value from this video, please do me the greatest favor ever and share this content with someone just like us that could get just as much value from it. And the second one, as always, please, for the love of God, stay strong, stay healthy, stay awesome. Peace out for now, and I'll see you guys in the next one.